What's up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS podcast. I'm your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I'm joined once again by one of Wise Take's finest DFS analysts, Mr. Stevie Brown. You can find him on Twitter at Stevie Brown DFS. That's right, the nation is getting down with Stevie Brown. Yes, sir. Stevie,
I love
how
it.
you doing, bro?
I can't think about anything else for the next 24 hours until that the NBA lottery.
Oh, I know, man.
Praying through for my Knicks to come through.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's rigged a little bit. It gets on to a big market team, and man, I'm sweating that. That's all I've been thinking about the last few days. That's such a big game changer for us.
Oh man, it's big. It's big. I'm very, very, very excited. Very, very excited.
I'm excited. I'm nervous.
I'm nervous as all
I'm already
hell.
sweating it.
But like the way I see it, what I think, if you get Zion, you get Zion. If you don't, then you have some decisions to make. You know what I'm saying? Between now and the draft, do you want one? No, there's a lot of good players there, but do you want that, or do you want to trade the pick and try to land an extra star? That's going to be the question, because we know Kevin Durant's coming. So, at some point.
How much do you believe in Zion? Do you think he's like an absolute franchise changer for he's like the next LeBron?
I think he's gonna.
I don't watch a lot of college, but for me, I don't want to speak ignorantly about him because I don't watch a ton of college basketball. But I can't imagine from watching what I saw, obviously he's dominant, he's great and everything, but I just get worried long term with someone having that skill set at that size. So I don't know, but
as long as he invests in really, really good sneakers, I think he will be a game changer. That's what I think.
He'll never be wearing those
the PG-13s. Yeah, man.
Yeah, never get with those.
There was some bad press with PG. He's like, hold up, man. This is like, no. But anyway, man. Baseball's been. I think everybody's been kind of heating up, man. I think I'm seeing more screenshots, more positive scores. I myself have been having, stringing together a few good nights in a row, which is always nice. And now we've got a massive 12-game slate. Any overall thoughts so far? I know we'll dive in, but any overall thoughts?
The top of the pitchers, I think there's some appealing names, but no super obvious, or super absolute chalk plays. The bottom end, of course, super ugly as always. We have some teams with insane run totals so far. It's a big slate there. Everything's in play tomorrow. You're gonna see a little bit of everything. Shitty teams going against bad pitchers, great pitchers going against great teams. I like these bigger slates.
Yeah, man. I think the good thing, there's always good and bad to these bigger slates. The good thing is, we'll start with the bad thing. How about that? The bad thing is that it's huge, and it's just typically these slates are usually a little higher scoring because there's more possible outcomes. But the other thing, the positive is that typically means that you don't have to settle for some of the ugly stuff. There's more options, and you're probably going to be able to find something that you're comfortable with. It's typically more fun to build teams on slates like this. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Cash games is where we always start, and that will not change today. Stevie, who's our SP1 in cash games as of now? I know it's the night before. First look, everybody. But
so we have really three guys I'm looking up at top so far. I think it's gonna be more the obvious and Morton, just because he's going against an awful Miami team. Obviously, we know they rank bottom 10 in K percentage, bottom 5 in ISO, and bottom 3 in team average, and always a team to pick on. Got Sale up top, who's been coming to form a little bit too. He's topping out now at a little bit higher velocity. They started out in the season. His pitch count's been going up, pitching a lot better than everyone thought he was in the beginning of the season. And then Caleb Smith, who's been on an absolute tear so far this season. 34% K rate, 16.7% swing and strike. I love them all, but I think the chalk option right now is going to be Morton going against that Marlins team in that beautiful park too. He's been pitching pretty decent.
Yeah, dude, it's tough. I think you could make it. I think you could definitely make an argument. Like if like Morton seems like the easier path because of how bad Miami is, but Chris Sale is such a quality pitcher, and you're getting him at such a like somewhat of a discount in terms of like his peers. So I think I would look to Sale, but I agree with you that like Morton may be the safer option. Chris Sale's looked good lately, but the Rockies have also kind of woken up against lefties. We typically like to attack them on the road, but I think it's close, right? Like even, regardless of who you go with, you can make an argument for the other one, right? It's like, but I agree. I think Morton has like the easier path, just because Miami is just awful. What about SP2s, man? Like I know it's pretty ugly down low, so I'm assuming we're gonna have to pay up for a second dude. But how low could we possibly get away with in cash? Do you think?
So I don't. This is one guy standing out to me. I don't know. Well, I don't think I'm comfortable enough to play him in cash, but Thornton, I Trent Thornton, I'm actually a little bit of a fan of. I saw his first start, and like I was watching the game. I think I actually rostered him too, and like he had an amazing outing with his family there and everything. Had a huge DKP game. Followed up against Cleveland the next game, still when they had a little bit of a watered down lineup and had an amazing outing there. And then he had a few shitty games right in a row. But I'm not a believer in him, but I think when he's getting this big park upgrade against a weaker offense in San Fran, and just played them, didn't have the best game, but didn't really see his normal K stuff, and got pulled a little early there. So where he's relatively cheap too, I don't mind going to him. 6-2 on FanDuel, 7-3 on DK. I think he's an option. Maybe if you want to reserve him for GPPs. But otherwise, for fair DK SB2s, I'm on the fence, but I want to do it. Boltonevich, pitch count's going back up, but he looks absolutely awful this year. And he's going against a Cardinals team that's really hit or miss, really volatile. Like they'll put up 0 runs for 2 games in a row, and then they'll come right back at you with like a 17-run game, an 11-run game. I'm torn what to do. Like we know last year at one point, especially in the start of the season, like he was known right up there with the elite other pitchers. Kind of came back down to earth towards the end of the season, and now this year he's getting absolutely blown up. So, but where he's super cheap at the price tag, even on DK, FanDuel too, only 6.9 there. I'm considering him. What are you looking at so far? SP2 wise, anyone stand out to you in that mid range?
For cash, not particularly. I think like Thornton, you can make a case for it. He's awful against lefties, but Brandon Belt's been hurt. So if he's out, that's a pretty big left-handed bat. He's got a great park. The Giants are just not a good offense. They do well in certain situations, maybe, but overall they're not a great offense. But I agree with you. I don't think I'd go there in cash. I think in cash for now, unless something were to open up, I think I'd probably try to pay up for a second one of these guys. The issue is who? Caleb Smith. I do like a lot, and I think you could.
That price tag is so nice on him.
Right.
Like you might be because he's not under 10K.
Right.
Like 9.5 is so fair, and like you might be able to get away with like playing him with like Morton or Sale, and like,
right, and just
sacrificing the crazy amount of stuff.
Maybe on a large slate like this, we do get the value to allow us to do that. Maybe some like punt catcher options, or somebody gets a boost in the batting order. Like it's a huge slate. We'll probably have some value that we can make that work in a cash game. So that's probably where I would feel comfortable with now. In tournaments, you could make a case for a lot of these guys, but you mentioned Faulty. He's only 8-1. It wouldn't surprise me if he became like a trendier tournament option. Like you said, on FanDuel, he's really, really cheap on DraftKings, only 8,100. But there's definitely some warning signs with him, and the Cardinals may not be the best matchup. Ironically, like we know Faulty as a guy who has always been awful to lefties, and he's been very, very good to righties. So he was hurt, obviously. He started off at AAA and he wasn't doing well. He's come up to the majors and he's still not doing great. The weird part about him is it's the righties that are really beating him up a little bit. He's given up 3 home runs to righties in 7 2/3 innings. He's given up 2 to lefties through 9 innings. He's got a 449 WOBA against righties and a 315 to lefties. So I don't know what's going on, but like I know his velocity's been down. Looking at it now, it looks like it was up a little bit in that Dodger game, but it's still down overall. And I think that's affecting how his pitches, like the effectiveness of his pitches. And whatever it is, the righties seem to be taking advantage of it. So I'm a little worried that this might be a tough matchup for him with all these, Goldschmidt and, even Molina and, Jose Martinez has been hot. Ozuna's been hitting the ball hard. Like, I'm a little worried about that. I was actually when you mentioned his name, I happened to be looking into him, and I was like, "Ooh," it's like that was wild. But talk to me about tournaments. Does your SP1 decision change? I think obviously you mentioned like Caleb Smith a lot. Is there anybody else, or is he like the guy that you're thinking you're gonna roll with?
Yeah, Caleb Smith definitely in tournaments he's gonna be one of my favorite plays just because he has that elite K upside, like I said, like that close to 35% K rate. He leads the slate, and I think he. Don't quote me. I think he leads the MLB right now, like over a bigger sample size and swinging strike rate too, where he's just under 17%. Great control, not giving up a ton of hard contact. Kind of want to go against those Rays with lefties, so I don't mind Caleb Smith there. I think Sale. Well, I like more for cash games off this first look. I think Sale will be that better tournament play. I don't think he's gonna get. Of course, it's a bigger slate, so I don't think he's going to get anything kind of outrageous for ownership. And people are afraid to target that Rockies lineup. But like he's racked up, 40? Don't quote my math either, but I think 42 strikeouts he's seen in the last 4 games now. Like if his K stuff's really going to be back there, we're getting Colorado outside of Coors, so that's where I like to pick on them a lot. Other guy too, Jack Flaherty. Braves another team I don't like to pick on, but we know he has some crazy K upside too when he's on. Had a little poor outing against Philly, but he's seen some tougher matchups too, where he pitched well one game against the Brewers, and then went to Chicago, pitched well there. So if his K stuff's on, we see that they love to stretch him out too. He went up to 110 pitches a game. I don't mind Flaherty for tournaments.
What about Clayton Kershaw against the Padres?
Sure, but I don't really like him. Like this year, he's just been really poor. His K stuff isn't where it should be. The Padres team throws against anyone a ton of righties at you. I mean, the only thing that's really been there this season so far is his control, but I don't think like when we have, I guess maybe because what I'm saying brings some appeal to him because if no one else really likes him off the eye too, then he's not really gonna get the ownership, and we know San Diego can bring some great stuff to opposing pitchers, but what I think I'd rather go to Paddock at the same price tag on DK or so, and then same with Syndergaard too. I don't think I can go to Kershaw when I have so many other elite pitchers around the same price tag.
No, I'm with you. It's crazy that that's the world we live in, where Kershaw becomes, just a pass. Even on first looks, like for how many years Kershaw was the first look guy. Like when all else fails, he's on the slate. You just talk about Kershaw, move on, and it hasn't been that way. Franmil the GOAT. For those of you that are not playing Kershaw, Franmil the GOAT, White State Nation members know who Franmil the GOAT is, and he's the goatiest GOAT of all the GOATs. Franmil Reyes, that is, of the San Diego Padres, is 3 for 6 with a double, a home run, and only 2 strikeouts against Kershaw. I'm going to ask you about a guy. Danny Duffy, Seattle on DraftKings. Tournaments. Texas Rangers. They're hot, but the guys that are hot are not guys you would expect. It's guys like Hunter Pence right now, who's having like a resurgence a little bit. It's like, I guess like Guzman is back. That's a plus. But looking at the projected lineup, Duffy may see a pretty left-handed heavy lineup. We're talking about 4 righties, one of which would be Jeff Mathis, who I don't even think. I think you're basically like you don't have a DH at that point. You have a pitcher hitting. Any interest in Danny Duffy at home in Kansas City against the Rangers?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're trying to really go down for somebody, even though he's really not that down at 7-7 at DK, he's fine. Like it's a lefty against a strikeout prone team with the Rangers, but he's alright. I almost kind of, if I want to go down that far, go all the way down to Wade Miley. Uh, just because we need a, if like we're going to talk about soon, we have some teams with nutty run totals right now, and if we want to be able to jam those guys in because they really priced them up, we need to find that cheap SP2. And like if we want to go like Caleb Smith and like Miley in that price range, right above Duffy there. Uh, we know the Tigers are a team to pick on for K upside, and he's been actually pitching pretty well. So I think I'd rather go Miley, where he should get the win there too, over Duffy. But I guess Duffy's fine too.
Like I don't mind Miley. Like I have come around at him over the last couple of years and understand he's serviceable. But I like dominant lefties. I don't mind against the Tigers, but when they're in Detroit, I don't love taking lefties against the Tigers. They're just so right-handed heavy, and they have a ballpark that's pretty favorable to right-handed hitting. You can make the same argument for Houston's offense, but um, I understand the argument for Miley, and I wouldn't talk anybody off of it necessarily. I don't think unless I found something tomorrow when I dug in, but I actually think I would prefer Duffy to Miley, especially because Miley isn't like a huge strikeout guy. At least Duffy will go for the strikeouts. You know what I'm saying? Like Miley's throwing a ton of cutters, and he's gonna get some strikeouts with that, but he's more or less trying to pitch to soft contact. And just
Yeah,
get them
ground ball guy.
right. But listen, I don't mind it. I'm just saying that's one thing. Like for me personally, that's like a personal thing. I don't know. Even when their numbers say like the Tigers aren't great against lefties, which because of how bad their team is, it generally says that fairly often. There's always been a thing with me, and maybe it has something to do with the fact that like back in the day when Miggy was Miggy and they had Kinsler and all those dudes and JD, like you took a lefty in that stadium, man, like it was just death. It was just like like those guys would match, and it's a different team, but I think I still have like a little bit of that stigma. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the other thing too, in terms of tournaments, it what's been happening a lot this year has been with any pitcher against the Tigers. It's in cash games, yeah, there's been a lot of opportunities to play pitchers against the Tigers, but it only becomes so hard for me to play them in tournaments against the Tigers, not because like, oh, I'm afraid of the Tigers offense, but they're always so cheap. Everyone in that lineup is priced down, and because of that, like those Tiger stacks make like
they open up a
great
lot of
pitching
things.
and great. Yeah, they open up like you can play double. Like if you want to go like Caleb Smith plus like another stud tomorrow, and then get like pieces of other good offenses in and stack up a Tigers offense, like you easily could. Like I've been playing Candelario when he's this cheap. Like the most expensive guy tomorrow in DK is I mean Ronnie Rodriguez has been an absolute fire, but like him and Castellanos are like 4-1 and 4-3. Otherwise everyone's like sitting right around 3K. So when they become like that stackable for so cheap and open up a lot, it's always just hard to play pitchers against them because of that. Not because I love the Tigers, but when they give you that price tag, they always become an appealing stack.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's the Tigers at times when you really need them, they can drop sevens on them. I do agree. Are there any other pitchers that you see? I know that there's a lot, and I know tomorrow we have a lot of work to do. I got one more guy I want to ask you about, and then after that, I'll ask you if there's anyone you want to talk about before we move on to hitting. But what are your thoughts on Chris Paddock? Right, coming off a phenomenal outing, right? Against was that his last start? Was it against the Mets when he like?
Yeah, I think it was against the Mets. I can double check that right now.
Yeah, it looks like on the 6th. Is that right? Yeah. I guess so. I guess. But anyway, 40 DraftKings points, 11K, 7 2/3, 4 hits, 1 walk, domination. Now he gets the Dodgers. Just want to know your thoughts, Stevie.
I love him, man. Like this looks like the real deal. Like his K stuff's there, his control's there. He's even on a website like DK, he doesn't really give up a ton of hits either. So I'm just afraid because like they're letting him get deep into games like inning wise, but pitch wise, they're not really taking him past that 90 pitch mark, even when he's having these amazing outings. Uh, the Dodgers have some scary lefty bats against him. He's one of my preferred tournament plays. Like if you're getting off like Morton or like Caleb Smith, I think he's definitely in that discussion there. Uh, Cash games, I don't think I'll be landing on him because of the, like the pitch count and how it's the Dodgers offense. But and I definitely like him a lot. Like he's been pitching really well, and I can't imagine that to fall off even against a decent offense.
You like him when that Jip has got it. Yeah, I'm with you. I think interesting tournament pivot because of the style pitcher he is. But I do think that there is some regression coming, and I've mentioned that before. There were some interesting metrics. Like I'm still trying to figure him out a little bit, right?
BABIP is like I think like almost MLB low, like
Yeah,
below like 0.175 or something like that.
It's something ridiculously low. He's giving up hard contact at least to righties, which makes sense for a guy that throws fastball changeup. Changeups are harder. It's a little tougher to be as effective to right-handed pitching, and the hard contact rates are there. And then his swinging strike rate, which I'm sure it's gone up since that game against the Mets, but his swinging strike rate wasn't as high as you'd expect for a guy that had such a high K rate. So we'll have to see which way that teeters. But I think at some point there could be some regression coming. Maybe it's not against the Dodgers, and even maybe it may not happen at all. I mean, the dude's got nasty stuff, and it's just like those numbers are designed for the average pitcher. This guy, he may not be just an average pitcher. So, any other pitchers?
You kind of nailed it there too. I think with that low BABIP and like you're still seeing like 40% hard contact, fly ball rates, 40% hard hit rates like on him.
Right.
Like I think he's a stud, definitely for sure, and I'll keep my word on that. But like I think a little bit of regression's coming. Not where we're gonna see him tank down,
right.
but where come down.
If he sees a team that like really doesn't strike out like a lot, he may be in a little bit of trouble if the team's hot. He may have himself a little step backwards. Any other pitchers that you want to talk about, Stevie?
Looking down this list, I don't even want to bring up some of these names at the bottom end. I'd much rather save them. We're going to talk about our stacks and hitters. So
let's do that.
I think that's really going to do it.
Let's roll on into it, Stevie. Who are some of the pitchers you want to pick on? I guess the first team we'll talk about is the Houston Astros, right? And their 6.2 projected run total in Detroit against Ryan Carpenter, the lefty. Go ahead, Stevie. I mean, you'd been hinting towards this total massive. What are your thoughts on Houston?
Yeah, we're looking at a fucking insane run total on them against Ryan Carpenter. And I always love going to these guys like Yuri Gurriel and like Chirinos, a catcher. Like they're not even outrageously priced for the stack and that run total too. We saw Carpenter too, even when he was getting absolutely shelled last time. Like, get the game kind of got out of hand, so maybe they let him ride out. But even when he was getting shelled, they still left him in. So I think if they do the same again, they only brings more upside to that lineup. Like Gurriel 4-1, way too cheap. The MPE is really big on DK2, where he's both first base and third base eligible. Really helps you get some exposure to that offense, like a cheaper price tag if you want to go like two expensive pitchers. So I've been having a lot of him too, and I definitely will tomorrow. But yeah, Ryan Carpenter, I'm gonna want target those Astros a lot. And I think that's gonna be fairly obvious. Like obviously, anyone sees a 6.2 run total right now, they're gonna be the chalk offense, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. I think they did a good job pricing them up. We're seeing everyone about like over 5K and around 5.5 or so, but yeah, it's a priority offense tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. And like in a game with a total that high, I know you alluded to them already, but you can't help but look at Detroit and like drool a little bit again, right? Like, because like even them, they're projected for 4.5 runs, which for Detroit is pretty high. You know what I'm saying? And in general, this game is, I mean, if these guys are projected for that high, really, we're looking at like a 10-run total, 10.5-run total or so. I'm not even sure what it is. We're recording this the night before. But, yeah, so I think while we're on the game, I do like Houston, but I think we can also look at Detroit to provide us with some salary relief. And, man, there are some really, really cheap dudes on DraftKings here. Castellanos only 4-1. Miguel Cabrera is only 3-2. Like you said, Ronnie Rodriguez, the only the most expensive player on the team, and he's only 4,300. Good call, Stevie. I like that.
He's been mashing
Yeah, he's
too,
been
man.
mashing.
He looks so good.
He's been mashing and smashing through Brooklyn. Yes. So yeah, this game looks stackable as all hell. Talk to me about some of the other offenses that you may be interested in. No, before I keep on I want to unleash you, but then I get curious and I want to ask you a question. So that keeps happening. But before I unleash you, Stevie, Shelby Miller against the Royals. What do you think there? That'll be low owned, right? Because of all the teams on the slate, are people going to go to the Royals? Maybe not. I don't know. What do you think?
It's tough because they do have a huge run total right now. We're looking at a 5.4 run total, but no one likes to ever play the Royals.
It's not as fun.
Never.
It's just not as fun. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because for the longest times they had no big names, but you see Dozier, Soler, Ryan O'Hearn, Gordon doing amazing things now. I guess those are just not attractive names when you can go to other bigger teams like the Twins and see a shit ton of familiar names. But I mean, I'll play any. I wish this game was in Arlington, but I'll take anyone against Shelby Miller.
You know what? Did you know there was an early Shelby Miller's last start? It was an early slate. Shelby Miller won somebody $50,000. Can you believe it?
Oh man, can
you believe it? I mean, it wasn't just him. It was because he paid off his salary enough, and the person that won was able to get all the expensive ass stacks because he was so cheap. But would you believe that? Could you believe that, man? He won somebody $50,000. Unbelievable. And not that he had some great game. The Pirates eventually got to him, but still, he put up a 14, and that was enough, I guess. But
14 is phenomenal.
It is. If Shelby Miller get a 14, yeah, you're pretty happy. But anyway, keep going. I just had to tell you that because I still think that's hilarious.
Yeah, but obviously, like you said, I'm gonna all these Royals, both sides of the plate. Again, comes a little problem when they're expensive, but you got some of these pieces that are a little more cheap, where Ryan O'Hearn's 3.6 or so. But because of the price tag, I think they become a little less chalky and be a little more contrarian. And I love taking guys especially on FanDuel with still on base upside. So Witt, Mondesi, if Billy Hamilton cracks the lineup, then we'll get him there, and he makes for a good wraparound stack. But of course, I'm gonna love all those Royals there, and especially when I'm in me, I land on a lot more stacks of teams where I can play their value because it kind of forces me into it. So that's why I said I've been getting the Tigers because they're cheaper stacks. So let me get a lot more too, and let me play the better pitching. So they force me, forced to play a lot of Tigers if I like the price on Candelario. So Billy Hamilton cracks the lineup, and I like the price on Martin Maldonado at that dirt cheap price tag and this lineup with that run total and everything too. I can imagine I'm going to have a lot of these Royals tomorrow, so they'll be popular, I'm sure, to an extent, but a bigger slate. The price tags probably keep them off being very chalky. I'll definitely want to ride the Royals tomorrow.
Yeah, no. I do agree. But like you said, the slate is huge. We know Houston's going to get ownership. We know Boston is on the slate against Freeland. They've got a 5.1 projected run total at home. So, like you said, they'll be popular, but there's going to be a few other teams competing for the ownership. But there's going to be a lot of really low-owned awesome teams. Stevie, what other offenses, I'm going to open it up to you now, any other offenses that you think, at least in tournaments, could be a go?
I'm trying to decide if I really want to play, and I'd love to hear your opinion on the Diamondbacks tomorrow. I see Musgrove, I see their run total. I don't know, man. We were talking pre-show a little bit too, how just Musgrove's been really disappointing, but their run total, I guess it seems fair, but they're so expensive, and there's not really a lot of pieces you could work around. They're all that price tag. I guess you got to consider it. Like I said, if I don't like them and they're could have been really low owned. He's been getting a shit ton of hard contact so far this season. What do you think about the Diamondbacks? Especially given their price tags and everything. Are you want to jump to play them, assuming, which I'll bet they're going to come in at really low ownership, and we got other teams up there?
I could definitely get behind the Diamondbacks. They played well pretty much all season offensively. Musgrove has looked bad recently, but I don't know if I prioritize them. There are a few other offenses that I like that are a little cheaper, a few other offenses that I like that I think have I think you could argue have similar, if not maybe more upside. But yeah, I'm fine with the D-backs, and to me tomorrow, if I don't have them, it's going to be because I didn't get there. I just didn't have enough teams, so I wouldn't prioritize them, but I can get behind it against Musgrove. Um, yeah, that's basically. I think one offense that's like kind of growing on me. We talked about it already, but I do like the idea of the Cardinals in this game against
I was
40.
just gonna bring them up
Yeah,
too.
yeah, like that's growing on me more and more, man. I mean, you can include Carpenter for sure, but even if you didn't, you've got six solid right-handed bats. That you could play against Fulte, who's been struggling against righties. He's got a history of struggling against lefties. Either way, his velocity's been down. The Braves bullpen has been awful. 70 degrees is like decent compared to the rest of the slate. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'll fall on him. Them a lot. Like you said too. I think carbs are the most important pieces of that stack when he's that
Right.
cheap. Like we saw last year. This whole thing was a repeat of last year where he started out the season super slow, ended up like having like double down games daily at the end of the season or so. So yeah, I don't mind picking up Bolte or like he isn't striking out anyone. And we know they have a ton of power in that Cardinals lineup. They're all pretty potent. They're not anything. They're not outrageously priced. Like I said, Carps cheat for him at
It's like
3.7. Even
on
Goldie at
on,
4.3.
DraftKings, they feel like mispriced, right? Like
Yeah,
except for DeJong, who has been hot, but still, I don't think the Cardinals have been that cold, and Fulte hasn't been that good to where they should have like reduced their prices this much. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
no, I'm right with you too. Like I said earlier, like, they've been really explosive. Like we saw them have that 17-run game, and then we see them go back and forth. We've seen like a 1-run game, scoring no runs for a little bit, a couple games of 6 runs in there. But raw talent always trumps everything for me. And Goldie at 4.3, Carpenter 3.7, like it just comes so appealing. Not that scared of Fulton Evans right now. He looks pretty awful. So I do like the Cardinals a lot with you.
Yeah. No, I'm with it. You know what other team I'm going to take a hard look at tomorrow? I'm going to take a hard look at the Angels. I played the Angels today. Listella, Otani, it was wonderful. They've been good to me lately. And like they've been fairly hot. And Kyle Gibson is coming off a game where he just dominated Toronto, right? Like just dominated them. This is like the opposite of Toronto. Toronto is striking out a ton. Angels very very tough to strike out. I know this would be like a super like low owned like nobody's coming here, and maybe you don't even need to do it on this slate. So like I'm not saying like they're my favorite stack. I do like the Cardinals a shit ton more than them right now. But what do you think about the Angels right now?
Yeah, I mean, especially with Otani back, they look better now too.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how like one player makes him that much more appealing to play. Especially when you're throwing a decent lefty in there. Kind of hit or miss on them. Like you know, and I think I said on every single show since the beginning of the season, like they've either done so well for me or killed me in the beginning of the season when I kept playing that 3-man stack like Calhoun, Bohr, and Trout. It's gonna be something I'd have to look at a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow. But first look, their price tags are fine. Definitely don't mind
Yeah.
them.
Any other offenses you want to talk about, or should we do some core stuff, top threes, all that? What do you think?
Uh, as stacks, I think that's fine. But I'm looking at Cano at 3.5 tomorrow against Ellickson, like just as a one
Oh
off, like
yeah,
that.
I
That's what
don't
you
mind
cheat
that either.
for.
That's a good one. The Mets kind of looked like they were starting to get something going. They had some time off, but they looked like they were starting to get a little something going there. Maybe it was just a home thing, but Hellickson's been awful. That's a pretty good call, I think.
Yeah, bigger run total to him at 4.8. Like I said, Ramos at catcher 3.5 is cheap. Cano at 3.5 is cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, I could dig it. Um, that's gonna do it for the slate breakdown. We're gonna do some top threes, some cash game core stuff, dong watch, all that good stuff. But first, I'm gonna remind everybody if you haven't already, check us out at wisestake.com. Make sure you get over there, check out what we do, see what the Wisestake Nation is really all about. Get yourself a day pass, $2.50 gets you access to all of our content. You'll get access to our cash game articles, tournament articles, all the articles that we have for the day. You'll get including Camp's cheat sheets, which have been an awesome thing all year to have. Very convenient if you're in a rush. We have the live stream, which is a live stream we do 2 hours before lock. We get projections. We got everything. The only thing you don't get with the day pass is the Slack chat. Slack chat's for monthly members or higher. So I suggest after you try us out and you see what it's all about, you then save yourself some money, get yourself access to the Slack, and get a monthly membership or higher. Once again, that is wisetake.com. All right, Stevie, cash game core time. So, FanDuel and DraftKings SP1. Who are we rolling with? Is it Morton?
I think I like Morton. On FanDuel's price is SP5 to DK SP2, but to match against the Marlins, way there.
Did you say
I think
he's priced as an SP5? Is that what you said?
I mean, like, he's like the 5th most expensive.
I knew what you meant, but when you said it, I was like, SP5? I was like, what side you playing on, bro? We got 5 starting pitches.
5 pitches, imagine that.
Imagine that, man. Yeah, okay, I'm cool with that. We'll go Morton. SP2 on DraftKings. I mean, what do you think, man? It's
You want to go like up to Caleb Smith and go really expensive, or you want to drop down to like Duffy, Miley? I think if you want to go Caleb Smith, it's a little bit safer, but then we got to chase some value.
I think let's give a shot for Caleb Smith. Let's see if we can make that work.
Me too. I like that route a lot better. Like I'm much rather sacrificing my bats a little bit than
right. Than play some like guy that can potentially get you a negative. You know, at least the bats that get you a 0. You don't want a guy that's gonna like go backwards. You know, you don't want that. All right. Who is the stud that we think on both sides? Like the guy that we think we want to jam in here. Oh my God, Bryce Harper. I know he's been awful, but Bryce Harper is now 4-2. Oh my God, on DraftKings that is. But who's the stud? Man, everybody's cheap tomorrow. Oh, I'm looking at FanDuel. My bad. Okay, yeah.
That's you got me messed up.
That was my bad. He's 4-7 on DraftKings. You're sitting here like, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, I was like, go away.
He's like, I was thinking, what is this man talking about right now? Who's the stud?
You think it'd be one of those Houston guys or Royal?
Yeah, I mean, I think Houston makes sense just because they should be the most popular offense with that total and how hot they've been. I'm cool if you want to go Springer or Bregman.
One of those Springer Bregmans. Springer's been super hot right now. I'll take him. I'll tell you right now, Gilly Gurriel in my cash lineup too tomorrow.
Okay, we'll use Gurriel right there with him. He's not very expensive, so there you go. And is there a like super value play? You want to go like Carpenter or something? What do you think? Or
Carpet 3.7 is fine. Canoa 3.5 is fine.
I'm with it.
Even Candelario, like I said.
Candelario, very cheap. I'm with it. So yeah, on cash you should be able to find a way to make Caleb Smith and like to pay up for 2 pitchers.
You go Morton, Caleb Smith. That's $37.50 remaining. Yeah, Candelario 3.2 takes it down. Cano's under that. Carp's at that.
Yeah, dude. Like even if you wanted like a super punt with like Travis Shaw, right? He's 2,400 over here. Like it's like super punt. If the guy walks 3 times, you're good. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I played fucking Stevie Wilkerson for a week when he was like at 2,400. Like, I'm willing to play anyone at that price range.
Exactly. All right. Top 3 pitchers in general, Stevie.
Morton, Caleb Smith, and God, give me Sale.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Caleb Smith is probably my favorite pitcher right now. I'll go Caleb Smith, Chris Sale, and Danny Duffy. Boom, Duffmaster. Top 3 stacks.
Super chalky, Houston, Royals, and I'll say you can look at the Cardinals a little bit more. So I'll say the Cardinals.
I like it, man. I'm digging the Cardinals a lot. I'm digging the Royals. And I'm going to go with the Angels, man. The Angels have been good to me. I need to be good to them. Houston's been good to me, too. No disrespect, Houston. I still love you. But I'm going to say Angels for the 3rd. But Houston, I'll probably play you anyway because you're just great to me. But Dong Watch, and we're out of here, Stevie. Who's hitting the home run tomorrow?
Springer. That's the obvious one.
I like it.
been hitting home runs like crazy. I think he leads the AL in like RBIs,
Dude,
runs,
he's
and home
first in
runs.
everything right now. Like, he is just
Yeah,
beast
he's been
mode.
fucking mashed, man.
Yes, yes. I will go with Adalberto Mondesi.
I'm gonna try to let me find a little cheaper one here. I'm gonna go. You said him as a value play. And I'm gonna take him as an extreme cheap home run and hope he finally does what we've all been hoping he does the whole entire season. Show it to four.
There you go. I like it, man. That's Stones.
Man, I've been writing him up as a righty masher the whole entire
Yeah.
season at a cheap price tag, and he hasn't been doing it, but maybe tomorrow's
Maybe
the day.
tomorrow's the day. I'm gonna go with Paul Goldschmidt.
Goldie, I'm gonna go David Peralta.
And I will go with Ronnie M. Rodriguez of the Detroit Tigers. And that is gonna do it.
What about Ronnie Rodriguez too? Is he kind of has a little funky batting
Yeah,
stance?
he got a little
like,
funk to it. Yeah.
Where you always see those older videos and like stuff like that of all these guys having fucking wild batting stances back in the day, and like that's kind of gone now. And he's still standing there doing that crazy bat wiggle up here and everything. So
little throwback action.
Yeah,
I like it. That is going to do it for the White Slate DFS podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the White Slate Nation. If you're watching on Twitter, give us a follow. Give us a retweet if you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes. Give us some 5-star reviews. Anything in closing before we get up out of here, Stevie?
Next better get that fucking #1 pick, man. We need it.
There we go. Make sure to follow Stevie on Twitter to get his minute-by-minute reactions of the lottery for the NBA tomorrow. For Stevie Brown, for myself, the entire White Slate Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.